Hey, in this video, I'm going to show you what you need to know to start selling digital products online, even if you're a complete beginner. By the end of the video, you'll understand the best platform to start selling with, how to create products that will sell, and the most common mistakes to avoid wherever you end up selling your stuff. Hey, my name is Jim. Thank you so much for watching. Listen, you have a lot of options for where to sell digital products. My advice is to start with one platform like the one I'm about to show you in just a minute. But before we get into that, let me just walk you through one of the most important things that you can do to get yourself set up for success no matter where you end up selling your products. Okay, so first off, the thing that we're going to do is we're going to find a hungry crowd that's looking for digital products, okay? Every platform is a little different, all right? So my advice is going to be starting with one platform, the one I'll show you in just a second. And here's what we do is we dig into that platform and we look for products that have lots of reviews, that have recent sales, recent reviews, and we want to make sure that there's a healthy amount of competition selling exactly the kind of products, digital products, that we might want to sell. Here's the deal. You want competition, right? When there's no competition on a platform, then that can be a bad thing. That just may mean that there's no market for that kind of product there. So, for example, if you've already got a digital product and you go look for competitors on a given platform where you might want to sell this, and there's nobody else selling it, then that's a bad thing, right? That may mean that the people that are going to buy your kind of product aren't on that platform. And so no matter how great your copy is or how great of SEO you do on the page or whatever, you may never find a buyer because there's just no one there buying that stuff. So I think you get the point. So what we're going to do is we're going to start with an easy platform where we can sell stuff. We're going to research what's already selling. Then we're going to create products right along those lines, okay? And you may think, oh, somebody else is already selling that stuff. Don't I need to do something unique? The answer is no, actually. So not only do we want competition, but we want to tap into the fact that people like you and me tend to buy the same kinds of products over and over again, right? So if I look over here on my bookshelf at financial books, at self-help books, at copywriting books, I don't just have one book from each of those subjects, right? I've got dozens and dozens, and I've bought multiple digital products on each of those subjects over the years. And so we don't have to worry about competition. People want to buy multiple types of the same product, right? So we're going to put our own spin on things. We're going to have our own unique product that people are going to want to buy right in the same niche where they're already buying stuff. Okay, so I hope that makes sense. Now let's dive in and start doing the research. This is where everything starts to get fun, okay? So we are over here on the platform I recommend, which is Etsy, okay? Now, whatever notions you have about Etsy from what you've heard or read or tried in the past, just set them aside for a second because what I'm going to show you here is how to find that hungry market, and you can use this on any platform, okay? But I like Etsy. I think it's a great place for people to get a start, all right? And especially if you haven't really sold a lot of stuff online in the past, right? So Etsy has not really been something I've used a lot of. My background is more technical, and I've built a ton of websites and checkouts and stuff like that. So going that route, doing paid advertising is a little more up my alley. But that's the most advanced kind of approach to take. And so if I were starting over and I didn't know that stuff, I would go to Etsy. And so that's why I'm showing it to you today. Okay. Now, there's tons of like crafts and all that stuff, but there are a lot of digital products for sale on this platform. Okay. Now, you could see from my recently viewed, I haven't been in here in a couple weeks, but I look at different stuff in here, and when I make pitches to offline businesses like HVAC companies and I want to have an easy, ready set of info and templates I can use to help them do social media, then this is like a place you can come and get that info, right? So people are selling that stuff. So there's a market for that, right? People are creating that kind of stuff. Now, one of the things that we created in our video yesterday, or my last video, not yesterday, but is tips and tricks for Windows 11. Now, we just loosely did research on that and we were looking in Amazon. I just came in here to Etsy and just searched up Windows 11, right? And let's just see what we come up with. Now, right off the bat, when I look through here, what I see in the top of the search results are a lot of keys for getting access to Windows 11. Okay, so that's not really our market, and I don't see any tips and tricks here. Now, like I talked about, that's a bad sign. Okay, I did find one thing when I searched on Microsoft, and I found a lot more things, but like this is one of them, right? So it came up as like a Windows tips and tricks offer here. This is a bundle for a broader set of stuff like Excel, PowerPoint, so more of the Office related stuff. Okay, so that tells me that maybe on this platform there's a little more of a market for this. So let's scroll down here, okay, and look at reviews, right? Great product, it seems. This person's getting a lot of 5-star reviews, and they're pretty recent, right? Feb 24, Jan 10, August 7th. They start to go back a little ways, right? And that's just fine. They've got 27 reviews. Now, that's on their shop. Right here, what it tells us is reviews for this item is 4. Okay, so it's hard to tell exactly when the products have come out, but what we can do is go over here and click on their store name, and we can see what other stuff they're selling. Okay, so you can see these guys put together like score sheets and stuff like that. Okay, nothing really exciting there. Let's look for Excel stuff. Okay, so there's a lot more competition here, which is a good thing. So we've got 1,000+ items, and we're seeing spreadsheet template bundles with different things. We're seeing 5.5 thousand reviews. All right, $16, $9, 5,000 templates. Now, don't get worried. We don't have to offer 5,000 templates here, right? A lot of these are PLR and that kind of thing, which each of these vendors may be just reselling each other's stuff. But what we can see is that there's a lot of reviews happening in here, right? And there's a lot of products and competition. Okay, so let's search this a little more deeply and say Excel tips. Okay, so it looks like templates is a big thing. How about shortcuts? All right, here's one, Ultimate Excel Shortcuts and Formulas. Let's take a look at that. 9 views in the last 24 hours. Okay, that's a good sign. $2.70, not very expensive. But that's something you'll see on Etsy, is that a lot of people discount things pretty deeply, all right? But then they have a bigger bundle for a higher price, right? So a lot of times what you're trying to do is just get people in the door. Right. Keep in mind, we don't have advertising costs here, and so we don't have to worry quite as much about breaking even on the sale like we would if we were doing paid advertising. So we can't afford a lower price. Okay. So 5 reviews for this, 30 for the shop. People seem to like it, and they've been looking at it recently. So let's see what else these guys sell. Okay. Construction templates, dashboards, calculators. Okay, all right, so there's a lot of stuff here. Now keep in mind, AI can help us create a lot of this stuff. All right, that's one thing that we might be able to come back to, especially with those tips and tricks. Shortcuts and formulas sheet. Okay, that's only got 12. All right, so I won't go too much more deeply here, right? You can get the idea that what we're doing here is research, and right out of the gate with Excel stuff, we see that there's a lot here. Okay, so that's a good thing. Competition is a good thing. And so we know that if we can create something, or we can go on Fiverr and have somebody else create some templates for us or something like that, then we've got a viable market here on Etsy for an Excel type product. Okay, so that's good enough. Now let's go in and start looking at how we can set up our own product on Etsy and get that for sale. Okay, So here's what I want you to do. Just bounce over to your internet, your browser, whatever. Type in etsy.com/sell, S-E-L-L, okay? And that is gonna take you to the page where you can basically get started, sign up for Etsy. If you've already got an account, you can just sign in, but this is gonna be the place where you can basically start up your store, okay? And they'll ask you for a few things. Once you're done with that, you'll be able to jump over into your Etsy store. You'll be logged in, and then what you'll see is you have this little thing called a shop manager. Okay, so we're going to go to the shop manager, and this is where you can basically start adding products. Okay, so what we do over here is just on the left side, there's like a little listings thing, and you can click on that, and then you probably won't have anything in there except a big button that says add a listing, and then that's what we'll do, right? So for category, I am going to go to digital prints, guides, and how-tos. I usually go right into the digital area. There isn't a perfect category for these things, but don't worry about that too much. Okay, so then once that's checked right there, just hit continue. Okay, and then what we'll be doing are digital files, right? So then they'll ask you who made it. Okay, so always say I did unless you're selling somebody else's products. Now, if you've generated something using AI, then you can also just tick this box. We'll select that because we'll use our Windows 11 product as an example here to upload. All right, so now we can say, okay, when did we make it recently? Some of these categories fit more along the lines of like physical products. This is where we're going to leverage the sales page and some of the info that we've already created to fill out our form here. I'm going to copy this and just come in here and we'll just mash together a title. Now, since we noticed that Windows 11 really wasn't a market in here, one of the things we could do with a product, since we already have it created, we could actually pivot and try to see if we can find a market for this product, because on Etsy there's a lot of people who buy and sell private label rights or master resale rights products. Okay, and what that means is we'll create the product, and then basically if somebody buys this, then I'm just conveying the rights to them to call it their own product. Since we didn't see anybody selling Windows 11 tips on here, I'll put this as PLR, and we'll see if maybe we can capture some of that market. Okay, easy enough. Now, photos and video. Now, I won't upload 10 here, but they do recommend creating 10 photos. Okay, and the second one should be like a video, all right, if you have the bandwidth to do that kind of thing. But for me, let's just drag and drop a picture in here. Like, all I've done here, guys, for these pictures is I have gone into Canva, okay? I've opened up those documents we created. So you can do this too with any of your products. And if you can't export it as an image, then like these have to come out as a PDF. But what you can do, if you're on a Mac, if you just hit the command, hold the command key, the shift key, and the 4 key, the number 4 down, then you can just take a screenshot. So you can do the same thing on Windows. I don't know exactly what the keys are, but you take a screenshot and then boom, save it. That's all I did. Okay, so let's go back over here and we'll just keep uploading our images here. Okay, tips. So the second one, like I mentioned, is they're expecting that to be a video, so don't worry about that. We don't have one. Our thumbnail isn't perfect here, so I do want to show you real quick. In Canva, if you want to create this kind of shot where you've got all the different things together, let's just go back to the beginning. And what we'll do is just create a design, okay? And then I just search on Insta, if I can spell it, Instagram. And then I just do the post square, all right, the 1080 by 1080. Okay. And then if you go into the design templates and you just search up course, okay, then you'll see like this one, all right, and then like maybe the color scheme is wrong or whatever. I don't worry too much about that. Like we can change the words here. Win 11, okay. And maybe we'll just say PLR, MRR, all right. Get instant access, blah, blah, blah. Now here's the thing with these images, all right. All we have to do here is just go to our uploads, all right. And I uploaded those screenshots. And now what you can do, so I'm just using my mouse, I'm just grabbing one of these images, and then I can just put it on, just hover it over one of these documents and it fills the space, okay? See how cool that is? All right, so we only really need to do these front ones. Maybe not that one, but okay, like that. That looks great, right? Okay. If there's some of these you don't like, you can always just bloop, delete it and just get it out of there, okay? We get a pretty nice little screenshot. Now you can export this and put it over to Etsy. Okay, that's downloaded. Now for our thumbnail, and make it our new Windows Square one. There it is. You have to play around with this stuff a little bit. You can drag these. So we'll make this one the primary. Then this should work. Okay, perfect. Now buyers can download these files. So this is where we drop in our content set. Okay, we can add our PDFs here. All right, so I'm just gonna kind of control click each of the PDF files that are in here. Now, since I'm doing like a private label rights kind of thing here, I probably would add a file that kind of talks through the rights for for how they can use this, but I won't worry about that at the moment. Okay, description. Now, this is where we can leverage our sales page, okay? Let's do this. Let's just grab some of this text and see if we can paste that in there. All right, so that looks pretty good. We don't do any kind of personalization, all right? Now the price that we'll put on this is, how about 9.95? Okay, so it shows you the earnings that you'll make. Quantity, this is like a good thing to add here. So it's digital, there will be unlimited amounts, but for some reason, it just helps us psychologically when we know that there's only a few left, right? Let's just put something like 17. So digital files, that's the core details. We've already got our category. We don't need any of these things about a physical product. And now we'll do a tag. So we'll say PLR, MRR, private label rights, Microsoft, template, digital product. Okay, now, as you can see, there is a price for listing stuff on Etsy. It's 20 cents, right? That lasts for a month, maybe 2 months. Let's go ahead and hit publish, and that's fine, right? Like I've already got my credit card set up in there. It's gonna just add it. It's gonna charge me for it, the 20 cents, and that's fine. Okay, now we've got our listing out there. Now the last thing that I would mention to you is that one of the things we saw when we were in the Etsy marketplace, you'll see some people really dropping their price. Like this market's been pretty good, but like obviously this group right here, they're trying to compete on price, right? $2.70. And everybody else up here and stuff, they're selling up in the $10, $12 range. So you don't have to compete on price like that. And so don't fall into that. I think you're better off going for the higher price and making your offer better, right? So that's where you want to be from a product creation and delivery standpoint is I'm not going to compete on price. I'm just going to differentiate my product. I'm going to make the offer better. I'll add more stuff in here and I'm going to keep my price where it's at, or maybe even go the opposite way and raise my price and be the highest priced. Okay, so like that's the way you want to be thinking on these, not racing to the bottom and killing your profits. All right, so gosh, it's been a long video and thank you so much for sticking with me through all of this. I think that it's a lot of fun. Once you get your first couple of sales anywhere, then you're going to be really happy about that, okay? Etsy is a pretty nice little marketplace, and there's built-in buyers here. So these people already have their credit cards like baked into the Etsy platform and everything. It's all really narrowly specific to like either crafts or digital products and that kind of thing. So they've got over 100 million visitors every month. So why not tap into that as your start? Hey, listen, if you liked this video, then please give it a thumbs up. Appreciate your watching. I'd love to have you as a subscriber on the channel if you're not already. And hey, I started up a new community as well. So if you've watched this and you'd like to get some more in-depth tips or even be able to interact with me one-on-one, then check out the link down in the description. I've got a link to the community you can join for free, and love to see you inside. All right, so thanks for joining me. We'll see you in the next video.